For thousands of years, the civilization of ancient Egypt has captivated the human imagination. Its towering pyramids, mysterious hieroglyphs, and golden-masked pharaohs speak of a world both alien and yet profoundly foundational to our own. But before the grand pyramids of Giza pierced the sky, before the mighty Ramesses II etched his name across the land, there was a beginning. An era of unification, of nascent divinity, and of the very first kings who would wear the crown of a united Egypt. This is the story of the early dynastic period, a time when history itself was being carved into stone. Our journey begins around 3100 BC, on the banks of the life-giving Nile. For centuries, the lands of Egypt had been divided into two distinct realms, Upper Egypt in the south, a long fertile valley stretching from the First Cataract, and Lower Egypt in the north, the vast marshy delta where the Nile meets the Mediterranean Sea. These were two cultures, two peoples, with their own traditions, deities, and rulers. The symbol of Upper Egypt was the tall, conical white crown, the Hadjit. For Lower Egypt, it was the red, bowl-shaped crown, the Deshret. The dream of uniting these two lands into a single, powerful kingdom was the driving ambition of the age. Tradition, as recorded by later Egyptian historians like Manetho, attributes this monumental achievement to a single, legendary figure means. He is often identified with a king we know from the archaeological record as Narmer. The Narmer Palette, one of the most significant artifacts ever discovered from this period, tells this story in stunning visual detail. On one side, we see Narmer wearing the white crown of Upper Egypt, smiting an enemy from the north. On the other, he proudly wears the red crown of Lower Egypt, surveying the vanquished. This powerful imagery symbolizes the birth of a unified nation and the dawn of the pharaonic age. With the two lands united under one ruler, and a capital was needed, one that could bridge the divide between north and south. This city was Memphis, or Enebhaj, the White Walls, strategically located near the apex of the Nile Delta. From this new center of power, the pharaohs of the first dynasty would govern their kingdom. These were rulers with names like Horahaucher and Dan. They were not just kings, they were considered living gods, the earthly incarnation of the falcon god Horus. Their duty was to maintain the divine order of truth, balance, and cosmic harmony. Any failure to do so could result in chaos, famine, and the wrath of the gods. The concept of divine kingship was central to Egyptian civilization for the next 3 millennia, and its foundations were laid here, in the early dynastic period. The pharaoh was the absolute monarch, the chief priest of every temple, the commander of the army, and the final judge. His authority was absolute, derived directly from the gods. This belief was reinforced through elaborate rituals and ceremonies. We see the emergence of the Sarak, a rectangular frame containing the king's Horus name, topped by the falcon god himself, symbolizing that the palace and the king within were the manifestation of Horus on earth. The early pharaohs were not just focused on political and religious consolidation. They were innovators and administrators. They established a complex bureaucracy to manage the kingdom's resources, particularly the grain produced by the annual Nile flood. Scribes, using early forms of hieroglyphic writing, kept meticulous records of taxes, inventories, and royal decrees. This writing system, initially used for simple labels and administrative tags, blossomed into a sophisticated tool for recording history, mythology, and religious texts. The very act of writing was seen as a sacred art, a gift from the god Thoth. The Egyptians of this era were also masters of trade and craftsmanship. Expeditions were sent south into Nubia for gold, ivory, and exotic woods, and east into the Sinai for turquoise and copper. The workshops of the royal court produced exquisite objects from stone, bone, and metal. Stone vessels, carved with incredible precision from hard materials like diorite and alabaster, are a testament to their skill. These were not just functional items, they were luxury goods, symbols of wealth and power, destined for the tombs of the elite. And it is in their beliefs about the afterlife that we see some of the most profound developments of the period. For the early Egyptians, death was not an end, but a transition to another, eternal existence. To ensure a successful journey and a comfortable afterlife, the deceased needed to be properly preserved and buried with all the necessities they would require. This led to the development of early mummification techniques and the construction of elaborate tombs. The royal burial grounds of this era were at Abydos, the ancestral home of the first kings in Upper Egypt. Here, the pharaohs of the first and second dynasties built their eternal houses. These were not yet pyramids, but large, subterranean burial chambers lined with mud brick, covered by a rectangular superstructure known as a mastaba. These tombs were filled with hundreds of jars of wine and food, furniture, games, and weapons. Astonishingly, some of the earliest royal tombs also included subsidiary burials of courtiers and servants, who were sacrificed to accompany their king into the afterlife, a practice that was soon abandoned. As the dynasties progressed, the scale of royal power and ambition grew. The Second Dynasty saw periods of internal strife, hinted at by some kings replacing the traditional Horus name with that of the god Set, or combining the two. This may reflect political or religious tension within the kingdom, a struggle to maintain the fragile unity that Narmer had forged. But by the end of the dynasty, order was restored, and the stage was set for an even more glorious age. The early dynastic period culminates with the reign of kings like Khosakemwy, who left behind monumental statues and inscriptions celebrating his reunification of the two lands after a period of conflict. His reign marks the transition to the Old Kingdom, the age of the pyramid builders. He and his successor Djoser would take the architectural and administrative foundations laid by their ancestors and use them to build for eternity on an unprecedented scale. The humble mud brick mastaba would evolve into the magnificent step pyramid at Saqqara, the world's first monumental stone building. Looking back from the vantage point of history, the early dynastic period can seem shadowy, its figures obscured by the mists of time. Yet, it was here that the essential character of ancient Egypt was forged. The unification of the two lands, the establishment of divine kingship, the development of a complex administration and writing system, and the profound focus on the afterlife, all these elements born in this formative age would endure for 3,000 years. They laid the groundwork for the construction of the Great Pyramids, the conquests of the New Kingdom, and the enduring legacy of one of the world's most remarkable civilizations. The story of Egypt is a long and winding river, and its source can be found right here, in the time of the first pharaohs. Thank you for joining us on this journey back to the dawn of Egyptian history. If you found this exploration fascinating, please like this video, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the ancient world, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.